My best friend ended up roping a girl and impregnating her, then forced her to get an abortion, but I don't think he was in the wrong. So my best friend had been eyeing this one girl for a particularly long amount of time, and he had approached her a few times, both IRL and over text, but had gotten shot down every time. Naturally, I told my friend it wasn't meant to be, but he refused to take no for an answer. He and I were recently invited to a party that she was going to attend, and I reminded him not to do anything stupid, as the last time he was drunk around a girl he liked he accidentally let it slip how much he fantasized about having a three-way with her and her dad. How she hooked up with him after that is beyond me. Anyway, my friend promised me he wouldn't do anything crazy or stupid, and being naive, I trusted him. Well, as soon as we arrived at the party, my friend decided to down a shot of Fireball and wash it down with a shot of some alcohol from Zimbabwe that no one knew how to pronounce. This clearly boosted his confidence into Zeus-esque levels, as he quickly began to make conversation about table tennis with anyone who was willing to listen. Of course, many girls he tried to talk to found ping pong to be utterly boring, and his pickup line, "Will you be the ping to my pong?" didn't help either. He kept drinking alcohol until he noticed his crush arrive, and he tried to approach her, trying to garner her interest by showing her how to do the haka. He is from New Zealand. She actually appreciated this, and before I knew it, the two of them were performing the haka. Well, they ended up separating and my friend lost his crush at the party. The next time I saw him was a few hours later, and the first sentence that came out of his mouth was, "I might be in some trouble." I asked him what he meant, and he went on to tell his story. He was wandering around looking for this girl when he heard her voice coming from inside the bedroom. He opened to find her, on top of a guy who was passed out and unconscious. She was talking to herself about how good this felt, and my friend noticed that she was roping this poor dude. He pulled her off of him, and word for word, he told her, "You want to know what it feels like? Watch." And with that he roped her. Thing is, he had no rubber and nut in her. He told me she was currently sleeping in his truck, however, and assured me she was safe. I of course trusted him. The morning after was peculiar according to my best friend. His crush woke up in his house to the smell of my friend making his infamous macaroni omelet, and she seemed confused about where she was. My friend, knowing this might end bad for him, gaslighted her into believing she went home with him and they hooked up. He said she seemed non-reactive to that information and responded with, "Wouldn't be the first time this has happened." They proceeded to share the omelet together before she headed off to her professor's house to F him for a better grade. Fast forward a couple of weeks later, the girl is pregnant and swears it's my best friend, as apparently the girl used protection with her professor. My friend came to me bearing the news in a very disheartened fashion. He said he's only 19, he can't be a dad, and asked me what I think. I told him I don't think he's at all ready to be a dad yet. He took this information to heart and left without saying much. A few days later he came to me, now smiling, happy as a pig in poop. I asked him what he was smiling so much about, and he said he followed my advice. He said he invited the girl over and they both came to the conclusion they would terminate the pregnancy. But not by a doctor. Instead, they decided to use a hanger, and the girl held very still as my best friend scooped his unborn son out.